Back in 2004, I was 17 years old, young, dumb, and fresh out of a tiny country town. It was my first year of college, and it was also my first time ever living in a real city. Up until then, my idea of danger was maybe a raccoon tipping over a trash can, or getting lost on a dirt road after dark. So yeah, I didn't really understand how bad cities could get at night. That night, I'd stayed out later than I meant to. I checked the time on my phone, 1:30 a.m. I remember thinking, it's fine. I'll just walk back to the dorm. It's not that far. The problem was, I didn't actually know where I was. At first, the streets were quiet but normal. Then, block by block, everything started to change. Street lights were busted, either flickering weakly or completely dead. Trash lined the sidewalks. Broken bottles, fast food bags, things I didn't even want to identify. Row houses pressed close together, their paint peeling, windows cracked or boarded up. Somewhere nearby, I heard shouting. Not playful shouting, angry, ugly arguments echoing through open windows. I remember thinking, I really shouldn't be here. I hugged my backpack tighter and kept walking, trying not to look scared. My footsteps sounded way too loud on the pavement. Every shadow felt like it was watching me. Then I heard it. A car engine. Slow, deliberate. I didn't turn around at first. I told myself it was nothing, just someone driving through. But the sound didn't pass me. It stayed right behind me, matching my pace. My stomach dropped. I glanced over my shoulder. A car had pulled up alongside me, moving so slowly it was barely rolling. When I looked inside, my heart practically stopped. There were 5 men in the car, all of them older, all of them staring at me. I don't remember exactly what they looked like, just the feeling they gave me. Unsavory, predatory, like I had just wandered into something I wasn't supposed to see. I tried to stay calm. I kept walking, eyes forward, pretending I didn't notice them. The car stayed with me for almost an entire block. By the time I reached the intersection, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely feel my fingers. Then the car suddenly sped up. They turned left and stopped, right in front of me, blocking my path. I froze. I mean that literally, I just stopped walking. I stood there in the street staring at the car. My mind went completely blank. People always say, I would have run. No, you wouldn't have. Not when you're 17, alone, and 5 grown men have you boxed in with a car. Running didn't make sense. They would have caught me in seconds. I don't know how long I stood there. It felt like forever. I remember my chest tightening, my breathing going shallow. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. Then, something changed. A porch light flicked on, just past the car on the corner house. The sudden light felt blinding after all that darkness. A man stepped out onto the porch, completely casual, carrying a bag of trash like it was the most normal thing in the world. He glanced at me, then he looked at the car, and almost instantly, the car peeled away. Tires screeched, the engine roared, and just like that, they were gone. The silence afterward felt unreal. I broke. I started crying right there in the street, shaking, gasping, barely able to stand. The guy dropped the trash bag and rushed over, asking if I was okay. I tried to explain what happened, but the words came out all wrong. I was crying too hard to make sense. He didn't question me. He didn't downplay it. He just said, come inside. I remember stepping into that house and feeling like I'd crossed into another world. Warm light, the smell of soda and old carpet, a couch with someone's jacket thrown over it. His roommate came out, confused at first, then immediately concerned. They sat me down, handed me a soda, let me calm down. After I stopped shaking, they walked me back to my dorm, both of them, one on each side, like they weren't about to let anything happen to me. They were genuinely kind. They joked a little, tried to make me laugh. They even invited me to come see their stand-up comedy sometime. I remember smiling and saying I would, even though I was too young to get into bars anyway. When we reached my dorm, they waited until I was safely inside before leaving. I never saw them again. I don't remember their names. I don't remember exactly what they looked like, but I think about that night more than I'd like to admit, because I know, deep down, that if that man hadn't decided to take his trash out at 1 a.m. on a Saturday, if that porch light hadn't turned on at exactly the right moment, my life would have taken a very different path. And sometimes when I think about it, I wonder if those men were just waiting for the street to stay dark. My mom told me this story not too long ago, but it actually happened about 10 years before she ever said a word about it. I think that's part of what makes it stick with me. She didn't tell it like a ghost story. She told it like something she still didn't fully understand, and maybe didn't want to. When this happened, my cousin was 17, maybe 18. She was in a bad car crash. At first, it seemed like she might pull through, but after a couple of weeks in the hospital, she passed away. Our family isn't especially emotional or dramatic. We're not religious, not spiritual, and definitely not the type to talk about ghosts or signs or anything like that. So her death hit quietly, but hard. She was especially close to my dad's sister, our aunt. She babysat her kids all the time. They were really young back then, none of them older than 4. She was basically part of their daily routine. Always around, always helping. Around the time of the accident, my aunt's house was under construction. Major work, walls opened up, scaffolding, tools everywhere. The kind of place that smells like dust, fresh wood, and concrete. The construction had started before my cousin passed away, and it continued after. A couple of weeks after the funeral, my aunt was at work when she got a phone call. It was one of the construction workers. At first he sounded annoyed. He told her there was a problem at the house. Apparently, a teenage girl had been showing up while they were working, just appearing on the property. He said she would walk around the site, sometimes standing near the unfinished rooms, sometimes just watching them work. She didn't say anything. She didn't interact with them. She would just be there. And this hadn't happened once. He said she'd been showing up for weeks. My aunt assumed it was some kid from the neighborhood, maybe a friend of her older kids, or someone curious about the construction. So she asked him to describe her. He paused for a moment, then said she had long brown hair. She usually wore a red baseball cap, denim dungarees, and a white jacket. My aunt didn't say anything right away, because that description was exact. That's what my cousin wore all the time. That was her outfit. My aunt told my mom later that she felt cold all over when she heard it, like her body reacted before her mind could. She told the worker that she didn't think the girl was from the neighborhood, and that she'd talk to him when she got home. When she arrived at the house later that day, the construction workers were still there. She brought out a photo, a picture of my cousin, and she asked them a simple question. Is this the girl you've been seeing? According to every single worker there, the answer was yes. They all agreed. No hesitation, no confusion. That was her. Same face, same hair, same clothes. One of the workers even mentioned the red cap, said it stood out because it didn't match the rest of what she was wearing. My cousin had been dead for weeks. After that day, the girl never showed up again. Not once. The construction finished without any other incidents. No voices, no footsteps, no sightings, just nothing. When my mom told me this story, I remember laughing nervously and asking if maybe the workers had just gotten mixed up. She shook her head. She told me my aunt never believed in anything paranormal before or after. She never talked about ghosts, never tried to explain it. She just stopped bringing it up. What unsettles me the most is the timing. The house was under construction, broken open, unfinished, in between states. And my cousin was also in between, not fully gone, not fully here. And sometimes I wonder if she wasn't haunting the house. If she was just checking on the kids she used to watch, walking through a place that still felt like home, because no one ever saw her do anything threatening. She didn't scare anyone. She didn't speak. She just walked around and then disappeared. And knowing my family, knowing how little we believe in things like this, that's what makes it hard to forget. Because if this happened to us, I can't help but wonder what else we just don't notice. When I was in high school, I had a really close friend who lived next door to a house that never seemed to stay occupied. It was always for sale. Not abandoned exactly, just empty. People would move in, stay a few months, and then leave, sometimes literally in the middle of the night. No goodbye. No explanation. Trucks would show up after dark, lights off, and by morning the house would be empty again. For a couple of years straight, it never had the same owner for more than 6 months. No one ever talked about it openly. It was just that house. One night, my friend and I were hanging out, bored in the way only high school kids can be bored. No plans, nothing to do, just killing time. At some point, he casually suggested we go explore the empty house next door. I remember hesitating for a second, but boredom won. We went around the back of the house, where there was a small dog door cut into one of the doors. My friend was thinner than me, so he crawled through first. A few seconds later, I heard the lock click and the back door creaked open. We were inside. The house itself wasn't creepy at first glance. It was actually kind of nice. It looked like it had been built in the 1950s, a craftsman-style home, similar to my friend's. Solid, normal, like the kind of place you'd raise a family. The electricity was off, but the streetlight outside cast a pale yellow glow through the windows, enough to see shapes and outlines. The kitchen stood out the most. There was this really nice built-in breakfast table set against a picture window. It felt cozy, almost warm despite the house being unheated. My friend and I sat down on the floor across from the table, backs against the cabinets, just talking about random stuff. School, music, nothing important. Looking back, it's weird how calm everything felt. Too calm. Then, without any warning, my friend screamed. It wasn't a joke scream. It wasn't playful. It was pure animal fear. And in that exact moment, my vision went completely black. But it wasn't like closing my eyes. It was like something turned the lights off inside my head. At the same time, this overwhelming cold washed over me. Not normal cold, not like winter air or a draft. This was sickly. It wrapped around my body from head to toe like I was submerged in something thick and freezing. It felt heavy, sticky, wrong. I started screaming. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't orient myself. I just felt panic and cold and darkness pressing in on me. Then I felt my friend's hand grab mine. He was pulling me hard, dragging me in some direction. I stumbled, barely able to keep my footing, still screaming, still blind. Gradually, my vision started to come back. The darkness thinned. The cold loosened its grip. And suddenly I realized we were outside, standing directly under the streetlight. The yellow glow felt blinding. The air was cold. It was December, but it was nothing compared to what I just felt inside that house. I bent over, gasping for breath, my hands shaking. That's when I looked at my friend. He was pale, eyes wide, breathing hard. He looked more scared than I'd ever seen him. I was confused, still panicking, still trying to understand what had just happened. I asked him what the hell he screamed about. He didn't answer right away. Then he told me. He said that while I was talking, something came out from under the breakfast table. Not fast, not dramatic. It crawled, a black thing. It had the vague shape of a girl, arms, legs, a head, but no features, just darkness, like it absorbed the light around it. He said it crawled toward me and then climbed onto me, sat on my chest. He said my eyes were wide open the entire time, but I wasn't looking at anything. I was groping around blindly, like I couldn't see, like I was trapped somewhere else. That's when he screamed and grabbed me. That's when he dragged me out. We didn't go back inside. We didn't talk much after that either. We just went back to his house and sat there in silence, lights on, doors locked. We're still friends to this day. Every now and then the story comes up, and the details never change. What I felt, that cold, that blackness, I've never felt anything like it since. It wasn't fear alone. It was like something else was there, pressing into me. 4 days afterward, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me. Not visibly, just a presence. I couldn't walk past that house anymore. Even now, years later, thinking about it sends chills through me. Because whatever was under that table, I don't think it was meant to be seen. And I'm not sure it expected to be interrupted.